Hey guys! So today we're going to be reviewing Sleeping with Other People, a movie written and directed by Leslye Headland and starring Jason Sudeikis and Alison Brie. Many of you may know Jason Sudeikis from SNL or Horrible Bosses 1 and 2, and he was also in the movie We Are the Millers. Alison Brie you may know from Community as Annie, and she's also been in several roles as a supporting cast. Well, for this film, they each get to take a chance at a leading role and they nail it perfectly. Jason Sudeikis shows that he can pull off the leading man in a romantic comedy flawlessly. Jason Sudeikis spits out jokes one after another, and most of them hit while very few of them fall flat. While Alison Brie is as lovable as ever, she gets to take a break from the innocent schoolgirl act and play a raunchy and flawed character. You can tell Alison Brie really sunk her teeth in this character, and she really pulls it off quite well. Both of the main characters are actually very flawed, and that's something that's really great to see in a romantic comedy, because romantic comedies have been played out. The story is about two people who meet in college and lose their virginity together, and they end up meeting back about 12 years later and seeing how each one has evolved. One is a love addict and one is a sex addict, but they come together and form a relationship that actually proves to be pretty nurturing to both of them. Alison Brie and Jason Sudeikis have great chemistry throughout this movie. It's really what helps the movie keep going. The pacing was a little slow at times, but due to their spitting off of jokes and the great scenarios they set up for one another, it was really fun to watch and entertaining. The emotional parts in this movie were actually really great. They did make you feel something, instead of just phoning in like we've seen so many times in rom-coms. However, on that point, it does fall into that rom-com cliche where you kind of know that they're going to be together, but you don't know how or when. That doesn't mean you don't know that Arnold Schwarzenegger is not going to save the day, but it's fun to see how he saves the day and what he does to get there. Very similar to this movie. We know how it might end, but it's great to see that these two characters are taking us along for this really fun and enjoyable and emotional journey. The supporting cast are really the true shining stars of this film. Every one of them is great. The main standout is Jason Mantzoukas. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, but most of you will know him as Rocky from The League, whose outlandish character is hilarious and sometimes too over the top. Well, I'm happy to say in this movie, he is way over the top, but they get to reel him in because he's playing a common man and not some caricature, but that he is still kind of restrained in what he does, but you can tell he's just waiting to bust out. His jokes with his wife are hilarious. The way those two play off together, they could even have a standalone movie. Someone who was great in the film but didn't get enough playtime, I feel, was Natasha Lyonne. Most of you know her from Orange is the New Black or American Pie. She plays Alison Brie's lesbian best friend, and she's supposed to kind of give her the guidance that she needs with her men in her life. However, she was really just there for about 30 seconds at a time, and we just never really got to know her. It was almost, she was too much of just a plot device. It's like, oh hey, you need to share this with the audience? Let me tell you through Natasha Lyonne. And Natasha Lyonne's really talented and can do much better work than that. And the similar thing could be said for Amanda Peet's character, where most would argue that she is a plot device, but with Amanda Peet's character, she was actually letting us have some emotional drive to this film. She let our characters evolve. She had a purpose. She wasn't just there to say what the thoughts of the characters were. One character that I do wish that got a little bit more screen time so we could see more of why our main character, Lainey, loved him so much was Adam Scott's Matthew. We do see that he's cold and calculated, and that's what he's supposed to be, but we don't see why she fell in love with him in the first place. She gives us a little bit of a backstory, but that's just not enough for me at times, and it feels like too much happened off-screen for us to actually appreciate why is she so infatuated with this person. Another romantic comedy cliche that they did have was following the same type of characters we see in every romantic comedy movie. We have the silly best friend. We have the girl who he needs to be in love with. We have the girl who he wants to think he's to be in love with, but is really not in love with. And then we have the other best friend telling them what all the audience knows is that they should be together. It's a lot of fun, the jokes are hilarious, the cast has great chemistry, including the supporting cast who sometimes even outshines the main stars. One thing that pleasantly surprised me was the direction of this film. It was shot just as much as a crude comedy, similar to that of American Pie with all the sexualizing and all the vulgar language, as it is a romantic comedy. I feel that the writer and director did a great job with portraying this story overall. There were just some things with the direction that I wish we would have seen more that would have helped the pacing. Again, like I said, there's too much love interest off-screen for certain characters and not enough screen time for supporting characters who should have been more than just plot devices. This movie definitely earns its R rating. It has a lot of sex scenes, it's very raunchy, and it has very funny, but sometimes crude language. What am I kidding? Always crude language. This movie is very similar to the movie Going the Distance. It has enough emotional punch, it has a lot of comedy moments, and it really makes it worth your time. So yes, I would recommend this movie, especially if you love romantic comedies. However, there is enough parts in the movie to make it enjoyable if you don't like romantic comedies. The comedy is great, the cast is fantastic, they have a lot of chemistry with one another, and they ad-lib terrifically. It's like watching a Will Ferrell movie, but with more coherent story. The ad-libbing's just pow, pow, off the wall, but it's really funny to see. Even though there are some cliche parts, the journey for this movie makes it well worth the final product. This movie may not have reinvented the romantic comedy wheel, but it does what romantic comedies do best. And for that, I'm going to give this movie a B+. This movie is currently out in theaters, and I recommend to go check it out. Alright, thanks again guys. I hope you liked the video. Please make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment down below about what your thoughts about the movie are if you plan on seeing it or if you have seen it. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next time.